Dear ladies and gentlemen, good day to all of you and welcome to the second mobility event in the spirit of Slovenian mobility. My name is Daniel Audagic and I'm the CEO of AV Living Lab. AV Living Lab is the urban test bed for the new mobility. This event is organized by Spirit Slovenia, who is Slovenian governmental business development agency. And they are a single point of contact for potential investors, and international companies looking for new business opportunities in Slovenia. The objective of the event is to introduce you Slovenian mobility ecosystem, enable networking, and to open the opportunities for partnership and investment. Now, let's go to today's topic. And before we start, I would like just to share with you that many of us, including me, dreamed of premium brands and high-tech products, especially cars, boats, motorcycles, bicycles, planes as children. Today, we host the event where entrepreneurs and companies will share their work and how they are transforming these child dreams into reality. And today they are shaping the future of mobility. All these solutions are developed and produced in Slovenia, and we have a strong industrial tradition, and more than 41% of our students graduated in science and engineering. So we want to create a creative potential of our people, entrepreneurs and engineers, so that they can deliver smart solutions that are green and sustainable and will bring benefits to the whole world. Mobility has an important role in Slovenia, and I will share with you a few facts. 100 years ago, back in 1909, we completed a successful takeoff of biplane by our aerospace engineer, Edward Rusian. 20 years later, in 1929, our aerospace engineer, Herman Potočnik, did the first drawing of space station, which was quite unique at that time, just thinking about, propulsion, so how to do a lift and take off and take it to the space, how to deal with, powering it with solar energy, how to deal with waste recycling, like, water and so on, how to provide the oxygen, how to bring it back safely to the earth. And when we talk about safety, we are very proud that our company Pipistrel basically achieved the first electrical plane certification with EASA. Now, what are the basis for this is, of course, a talent. So in Slovenia, our universities are also joining international competition like Design, Build, Fly, which is happening each year in the United States for radio control aircraft. So between 2014 and 2019, our university was always top 5 among more than 100 universities. And I'm also happy that company Pipistrel was their sponsor to help them achieve that. But we are not successful only in the air. Let's look what we did on the water. So the first working ship propeller was tested and made by Joseph Russell and was tested in Slovenia on Krka River. And this is not all. When we go to the land and we see, the first wheel basically was found in Slovenia 5,200 years ago. And this was basically an evidence that we had mobility happening already in Slovenia like 5,200 years ago. So what we want to show it to you is that, so this is all those wheels, so can we go next? And last but not the least, we are very, very proud on our cyclist. It is related to mobility. We like mobility. And of course, Tadej Pogačar and Primož Roglič are now top 2 in worldwide. So by concluding this, we like mobility. We see amazing opportunities, and we want to play important role in creating new mobility, sustainable green mobility. So I am really proud and honored that I can invite first keynote speaker to our virtual stage, Mr. Ivo Boscarol from the company Pipistrel. So, Ivo, please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. As mentioned, we are involved in 3D dimension, third dimension mobility. But as I will speak today, this dimension is needed. These two dimensions are needed to join if we like to make in future efficient mobility. So I'm a big believer that solar energy can contribute to our more efficient mobility in the future, especially because can be connected very fast to electric propulsions. And electric propulsion is what we believe it's the correct propulsion to clean the atmosphere, to maintain the atmosphere free. Because as written here, we can survive weeks without food, days without water, but only few minutes without the air. And solar energy, it's enough. It's in quantities that if we convert the solar energy in electric energy, is the solution, the best solution for mobility. You know that in Europe we have also an initiative up to 2050 to make, let's say, the mobility different, and it is a duty of all which are involved or who are involved in this process to follow the guidelines of the Green Deal. Otherwise, I believe we'll have really everyday big challenges with not only climate changes, but also very, very hard weather conditions. The big challenges are, of course, in big cities. Now we are traveling with the different transport means of transport from our home to the downtown. You see, we are changing subway, we are changing cars, but all this is, first of all, time demanding. It's very expensive, and also it makes a lot of pollution. We can shorter this process for 10 times, and of course make it much more efficient if we go in third dimension. Why is not going this both? I cannot move the slides. Please, can you go on this next slide? Okay, thank you. So the next challenge is how to short the time between our first destination, or let's say where we are, to the international hubs. We are now also changing different means of transport, but waiting, let's say, in traffic jams. This can be much easier and more efficient organized with the so-called mini liners or microfeeders, electric flying shuttles of between 20 passengers, which can substitute the actual means of transport. Next slide, please. Pipistrel is working on all these segments, all the complete segment of ecosystem, because we are convinced that let's say being successful only in the air it's not a solution. Changing something in public transport is not enough. Making everything electric will not work if the grid is not enough powerful. So we with our companies and our R&D, we are involved in all these segments, from the let's say design of vehicles, supporting processes, and the regulatory part of the ecosystem, which is of course very, very important. Next slide, please. We are now, since last year, also official pioneer of commercial electric aviation, I would say. But nobody else in the world has so long tradition and so big experience that we have in electric aviation. Because we are selling electric aircraft since 2007, hundreds are flying, the others are still in development process. And of course, as you see on the right side, we have also very ambitious plans to go in the bigger aviation and transport aviation, all connected to electric propulsion. Next slide, please. Velis Electro was the first ever type certified electric aircraft for commercial use. And as it was mentioned today, there are 3 milestones in aviation. First type certified two-seat aircraft, piston engine aircraft, first jet engine aircraft in 1953, and the first fully electric type certified aircraft in 2020. And this opened the door to the commercial use of electric propulsion in aviation, because type certificate in aviation means that the aircraft is at the same safety as the other ones. Next slide, please. Regarding the urban mobility, yes, we are working also on so-called flying taxis. We were selected by Uber years ago. We are continuing with this project, and we believe that the third dimension of the public transport in big cities is the need to make atmosphere cooler, better visibility, and also shorter the time between destinations. Next slide, please. Transport of goods or cargo transport is also one of problematic parts of the mobility and transport, because not only polluting very much, but also blocking the other traffic. So that's why we started the development, and we already have a fixed customer for 1,000 units of flying trucks who can transport 300 kilos, few hundred kilometers far with vertical takeoff and land, and of course emission free, because they are full electric. Next slide, please. For the transport between the cities and microfeeders to big airports, to shorten this, we have in design, and we plan to enter into the market, or let's say to go in the air in 2028 with 19-seat hydrogen fuel cells powered aircraft, which will be able to take off on very, very short runways and bring passengers direct in the big terminals. Because in this moment we are, let's say, forcing the passengers to go to the airport. We must change this attitude. We must bring the airport close to the passenger. Next slide, please. So the final goal must be to combine 2- and 3-dimension mobility in only one mobility, that we will be efficient. I am quite sure that car industry and aviation industry in future must join in a new industry where the high standards from aviation will meet lean production of car industry, that we will make this new kind of transport, new machines, efficient, affordable, and we will not talk anymore about cars and aircraft, but we will talk about a new mobility which will be different than it is now. Of course, the wings will disappear, other lift, let's say, generators will substitute them, but that's the reality with electric propulsion to assure the clean aviation in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boscarol. Like always, was very insightful and inspiring. So now from air we go to water, and our next speaker is Jure Podkrižnik from Edin Company, who will share with us their view and vision of electric marine. And the EDIN company, they are producer of top quality comprehensive solution in the field of propulsion techniques. So Jure, floor is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much for the introduction of our company. And Ivo, thank you for the first speech today, as you nicely described how important is the full concept of electric mobility, not just automotive bikes, let's say aircrafts or boats, but altogether combined is really something new that will clean the air and will make our Earth better, so to say. In our company, we are more focusing into the propulsion systems itself, so to say, because if you want to have good mobility whenever, wherever you want, in the air or in the cars or in the bikes or in the boats, you need very good propulsion systems that are intelligent and that can communicate with each other, with infrastructure, with users, and so on. And this is how our company, let's say, is working and where we are focusing to. Our company in general is a family-based company with 30 years and more experience. We are located in 2 locations in Germany and Slovenia with 300 employees, approximately 50 million turnover this year. And where we are focusing is, let's say, full propulsion systems, including full systems also for the end products. And this is where you can see it now, the full systems and end products, then hydraulic valves and other, let's say, components that we are producing for different industries. As a system supplier, we are developing and producing products for ourselves, our own brands, and also for other customers. So this means that we are also a system supplier for drive units and, let's say, propulsion systems. So we are making lots of research in the intelligent drive units, in the new gearing systems and so on. Then we are developing concepts, the full products validation, certification, and also serial production of those products. What we are, where we are very strong in the research is this intelligent drive units and gear systems. As I said, you can see a few pictures here. Then a few pictures from our R&D. Our company has approximately 30 people who are working in R&D, who are working on the concepts and then also the development of the products. Then we are also very strong, as I said, in the production of those systems, so that we are working in the field of metal machining, then let's say plastic injection molding, assembly, and so on. So we are producing our own drive systems, lots of things internally, and this makes us, gives us a strong position when we are developing new propulsion systems, that we can also produce them under serial conditions very shortly. This makes us very interesting for different companies who believes in us to give us new projects for developing of new propulsion systems. We have also lots of test stands where we are testing our products. And the application that we work for are mostly automotive, e-mobility, house appliance, smart buildings, safety systems, professional power tools, hydraulics, and robotics. And one of the very important fields in the last years is e-mobility. We have started here with two, let's say, two flagship products. And the first one is a new e-bike drive that we developed for the ZF. This was in cooperation with company Domel in Slovenia. We went into this project half-half, so to say, and we developed totally new propulsion system that is more stronger, more efficient, and smaller from the others that are already on the market. And this is our first flagship product, and we are already working on the next products for different companies, also under our own brand. And then the second one, which I would like to speak more about today, is our brand EDIN, which we are very proud of. We started 6 years ago with a cooperation with one Slovenian company who wanted to make foil boats, so to say, and they didn't have the right propulsion system for that, as the product was very efficient and the drive itself should be electric. And this is how we started. and based on this research project, we made now the full scale of products that are usable in the water applications. So this means that we have currently in our product portfolio different outboards from 2 to 20 kilowatt power, and different inboard systems from 10 to 150 kilowatt engine power. What we are concentrating on is the full system that communicates with each other, and it's also suitable to communicate with other, let's say, systems on the boat, with the infrastructure in the marine or somewhere else, and also with the customer, so that we have a smart product at the end of the day. And as those projects are totally new, we also had to, let's say, develop a new boat also for that. And this is also what we did with 2-3 companies, that we started with smaller boats at the beginning that are most suitable for that, for electric mobility, smaller boating units. And this is how we are also promoting and selling our products. And I would like to show you also our next step, what we are doing currently. So how we went from the, let's say, propulsion systems and boats also to the full city solutions. We have in the Venice, which is one of the most popular or most important cities in the water, the first fully integrated system with infrastructure. That means that we removed the poles that were meant for parking in the city of Venice, with the electric docking system. That means that you can dock the boat in this pole, and the pole itself is a charging system, which is smart. So you can use your smartphone and charge your electric boat. And then we have electric boat that is prepared for this kind of operation in Venice. This is some of the projects that we are showing to our customers and the municipalities, how to transfer their cities that are near the sea, or like Venice or Amsterdam, that really have lots of channels, how to make a city smart with electric mobility on water. So this is the type of the project that we are doing now. And exactly this week, at the end of the week and next week, is the presentation fair in the Venice. So you are also welcome, if you are from this part of Europe, to see our system working, where you can test it, where you can do a lot of, let's say, testing drives also with our systems and infrastructure itself. As a company who is producing and developing drive systems and propulsion systems in different areas, we as a company are also very open for different electric mobility, let's say, new projects. And therefore, we are also working very tight with other companies who are not only in marine sector, but also other sectors, because the propulsion system itself is very similar. If we are taking a look on the aircraft that Ivo nicely presented, if we are taking a look on the bikes or the cars, the propulsion system itself and the intelligence that it is needed for this operation, it's very similar. And therefore, this kind of gathering of this technology with right companies brings lots of good results together. And this is why we are very open to cooperate here with different companies. And maybe for the end, just a short video of our Eden company as a spin-off from our Podkrižnik mother company. Julia, could you please start the video?
Thank you, Jure, and please don't go away. We have also a roundtable where we continue with a discussion. So going from e-boats to hybrid yachts, with us is Mr. Vladimir Zinchenko, the owner and the CEO of the Greenlight Yachts. And they are the pioneer in nautical industry with the first hybrid yacht. So, Mr. Vladimir, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Good day, gentlemen and ladies. First of all, thank you very much for previous speakers. That was nicely introduced 3D dimensions with the air and also with the water. Also, the water is also 3D dimensions. It's have a not altitude, it have a deepness, you know. And some of the human like to go deeper and deeper to reach the lowest point in the planet. But so far, we're presenting the Green Line company, which are, which one of the world leader for the hybrid solution. The Green Line company based in Slovenia, and we have 250 workers for now, for today. And the shipyard located in the heart of Slovenia, in Gorenjska region. It's 160 kilometers from the seaside. But this region have a strong historical influence from the GRP production in the boat. Our neighbors is Elanis, most known in Slovenia, like a ski and the yachts builder. We use this experience and knowledge to start to build the boats. And for now, we have 7 models of the Green Line and 1 Ocean Class, which able to deliver to customer 3 different type of propulsion system, hybrid, diesel, and electric. As I said before, the Green Line was started in 2008 with the presentation with the J&J design, with the presentation Green Line 33, which was later on recognized like a most successful the product on the market for 10 meters boat. And for so far, it was built almost 600 boats of Green Line 33. And the year by year, it was launched different models. And so far, we became the biggest hybrid fleet in the world, the shipyard which built the biggest hybrid fleet in the world. And for last 10 years, we made more than 1,000 boats, which are meaning more than 1,000 hybrid units, because some of the boat has a twin engine propulsion system. Now we proudly present Ocean Class 68, which are the flagship of the shipyard. And we also on this year was presented Ocean Class 68 in hybrid propulsion system. And now we are working on the full electric propulsion system for the Ocean Class as well. As I said, in 2008, and it's already more than 10 years, the Green Line stay on the market. And for this, we collect a lot of experience how to make a customer happy. And we try to be forward and as much innovative on the brand, even if we use the regular diesel propulsion, because on the seaside, the propulsion system is a little bit different, like on the river or on the lakes. It's a big influence of the wind, waves, and the weather, and it's much more distance, and it's not so easy for now almost completely cancel the diesel propulsion, because it's more, how to say, it's had more redundancy than battery and electric system. But we try to be more innovative on this range, on this field, and also present this Ocean Class, which able to cross ocean as well. Okay. We on the shipyard, we're not only using the electric propulsion system, which are green. We try to be green on the all fields. Starting from the design point of view, we designed the boat as much as lighter. It means we can use the smaller engine, diesel engine, which will consume much less diesel fuel and pollute and the pollution, minimize the pollution as well. We try to use the materials which are eco-friendly, like natural materials. And even if technology is not allowed to do this, we, as much as possible, we try to use, we're using actually the materials which are already recycled, like structural foam which made from the recycled plastic bottles. As market has changed with the time, the Green Line was started from the small hybrid propulsion system, which was on the range very slow boat. It was the design for nice weather on the seaside and the channels and the lakes on the inlet waters. But later on, the market demand changed, and the customers more looking for faster boat, and they interesting to go on the electric propulsion system, also faster and much longer distance, to have a nice trip with the full silent, without any vibration, and the vibration and the noise of the diesel propulsion system. As you know, the diesel engines need to be maintained, like change the oil filters and other components, but electric motor, it's more convenient to for service. It's only two parts, one is starter, one is rotor. It's nothing else, no millions parts inside. It means the electric propulsion system also is very convenient for long range cruising. As I say before, the market demand has changed very fast, extremely fast. And for example, in 2020, the American market was required for 90% of the all orders with a hybrid propulsion system. The American market for now is more innovative, maybe because the big influence of the leader in automotive industry, Tesla, they turn mind towards electric with a solar roof, with electric cars, and so on. And the Europe as well it's turning to this from 49% to 58%. For us, it's a big challenge to make the propulsion system most efficient. And now we're working on the already sixth generation of hybrid propulsion system. As on this slide, we present the concept. I don't think I need to explain how it's worked, because probably it's more technical and became boring. But in few words, you can I can say the hybrid propulsion system allow you to generate electric energy during navigation, save the energy on the battery pack, and afterwards using or during the nice and silent trip by electric engine, or enjoy the nature with the anchor without any noise from diesel generator side, and have all the services on the boat, like cooking, air conditioning, entertainment, and so on. And this nice journey could lasting on the smart energy consumption from days up to week. You can consume for everything. Also help to solar with the help with the solar panels, and solar energy supply a lot of power for the house needs, for cooling and other consumers on the boat. The boat became today like a house. This is one of the main concern of Green Line yachts. We try to make a boat as close as possible to house, because your wife will not recognize the difference between house and the boat. It's make your life easier, and she will get access to the hot water, to the fresh water, for the cooler, and your beer always will be chilled in the fridge. On this square code, which you have in presentation, you can find the two videos how this hybrid is work, the presentation of the company, and you can download it brochure from the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zinchenko. It was interesting. So now we go from water to land, and the next presentation, short presentation, will come from company Nordung. They are the visionary in combining music and e-bikes to form an urban electric bike for music lovers. With us is Gregor Fras, the co-founder and the CEO. So Gregor, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for inviting me. And thanks also all the previous panelists for great presentations. So I think I will start with a short video, and then I will have a short presentation also of our company.
Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, 'cause I speak of the pompatus of love. People talk about me, baby. Say I'm doing you wrong, doing you wrong.
I will present you our young startup from Slovenia called Nordung. So we are not in reinventing the wheel business, but we are in business of empowering people to change communities for better living. And our mission is to accelerate environmental change towards clean air in cities. So we do this with innovation in micromobility, with data-driven solution, the best creative team, and a positive impact on urban communities. Our vision is to become the largest data-driven contributor to clean air in cities, and also a key facilitator of increasing environmental awareness and activating communities around the world. Our values is we are purpose-driven, so we try to raise awareness about air pollution in cities around the globe. We are innovative, so we have a smart solution for the best user experience in micromobility. Sustainability means a lot to us, so we try to produce a timeless design and long-lasting product for a lifetime. And we want to reshape the communities for clean future activation. What are the state of mobility in cities today? So we know that more and more people will be living in cities than today. So by 2050, 2.5 billion more people will be living in cities. And we also know that vehicles generate the most common greenhouse gas emission within the EU. And because of dimensions, now it's clear that cars are not the feasible solution for the cities, because cities are crowded, so it goes to the traffic jams, to urban congestion, and so on. So it's now clear more than ever that cars are really not the solution for urban mobility. And where we see the future of mobility is, of course, micromobility. With the four fundamentals, we see our product as smart. So the most important feature of our bike is that we are crowdsourcing data of air pollution of the routes where riders are driving. Our bike is also fully connected to your smartphone, so you could do everything you want with your smartphone. The important thing of our product is also its lightness. So it's built from carbon fibers, composites, and so on. It's also sustainable material because it's long-lasting and so on. And last but not least, very important feature of our product is joy. So we really try hard to make a great user experience with sound and music and so on. And why is Nordung the next big thing? We are combining two important things in the bicycle. So one is tech, where everybody else see just the batteries on the bike. We see a multifunctional device as a standalone device. We call it Boombox, with really unique set of features. So as I already mentioned, we have air pollution sensor inside. So we are measuring the pollution of the route where riders are going, which allow us to have some smart navigation. So we recommended more cleaner routes for the bikings. We have also speakers built inside our Boombox, so a biker could listen music, some signaling and so on. We have also Bluetooth to connect it to your smartphone, blockchain technology that are transferring the data from the biker to our cloud. And we also developed our own battery management system that make everything works. And other things is design. So we believe that we have one of the best designed bike in the world. We are talking about urban city bikes. It's from carbon composites, as I already mentioned. So we are combining these two things in our bike. So great tech, high tech, and beautiful design. And let's stay a little bit longer in our boombox. So we think it's your ultimate personal gadget. And as I mentioned, in the field of micromobility, it's a powering our electric bike. And it's also bring some different features to biking, like air pollution sensoring, listen to music, and so on. But we are also in some different fields of industries. So we believe we are also in home office appliances, because our boombox is also, you know, detachable from the bike. You could bring it to your home, to your office, where you could measuring air pollution in home, in office. It's also a music system, and it's also reserve power bank. We're also in entertainment business with home music, with office music, with portable music, and so on. And last, we are also in energy business. So our boombox is also your personal power bank, where you could charge your computer, your phone, your any other electronic devices that you have. Our boombox have two USB chargers inside, so you could charge everything with USB. And very important solution of our products is also our app. We call it Google Maps for clean air, because what we want to do is to make a layer. Like now is the layer with Google Maps is they show you the traffic on your route, but what we want to show you on the Google Maps is the pollution on your route, and also a recommendation where you should go for cleaner roads. And our app has also some other features, like you could listen music from it, you could arrange your trip, your navigation, you could connect with your community, and it's also appliance for communicating with bikes. So you could see what is the battery charging, what is the speed of your bike, and so on. And our business model is divided in 3 stages. We are now, as a very young startup, we are now in phase 1. So we are making this urban e-bike. But what will follow is phase 2, where we will solve independent systems, and also the phase 3, where we solve our platform business. I will present you shortly also this. So our first phase is urban e-bike. It's our independent revenue stream. It's also our technology showcase, our development platform, and as it is very eye-catching. It's our great marketing tool. Everybody, it's, you know, the feeling is like you're buying a Ferrari and you drive down the road, and everybody looking for you. And the same thing happening when you're riding with our bike. So everybody looking what's happening and what's going on. And our second phase is what we wanted to do is to solve independent system solution, like air pollution sensors, like battery management systems, batteries, and so on. Of course, in a Nordung philosophy, it's not just a battery; it's a multifunctional machine, and so on. And we will also sell our software solution, like our application and so on, as a white label software to other producers of bikes, scooters, motorbikes, and so on. And all the systems and all the hardware will be connected to our platform, which is the stage 3. So we will also build our platform where we aggregate all the vehicle data from different vehicles like e-scooters, e-bikes, motorcycles, and so on. And then we expose this data to various services and applications like phones, computer, wearables, government, and business. I always give this example. You know, when you are buying your apartment somewhere in the center of the city, how valuable would be the information of what is the air pollution of this particular area where you're buying your apartment. So we are also seeing that the data that will bikers gathering from their ride and crowdsourcing this data pollution data to us will be very valuable for I don't know, some companies like renting companies, governments, businesses, and so on. So yeah, this is and one last thing, very important for us is our community. We call it aeronauts, because this is not just our customers. This is our activists. This is our people that will crowdsource data of air pollution in the cities and expose it to our service. And we will also empower this community with smart activism, with community empowerments and so on. And of course, our community will also be our brand ambassadors that will spread the word about our solution to the world. So this is a short presentation for me of our company. As I mentioned, we are still a very young startup in the first stage, and I will be happy to answer some questions later on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregor. It was very, very informative. So now we move to a little bit larger vehicles, electric sports cars. So with us is the company, the Tušek Sports Cars, and Peter Thibaud, the CTO, will present their work. And they are the manufacturer of luxury electric sports cars. So Peter, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the invitation for today to be in the group of these companies with great ideas and businesses, to be the part of the smart mobility or green mobility. And our contribution to that idea is not just being technologically advanced and green, it's also to be very, very fast. So Tušek is actually the Slovenian company which is shown on the next slide on the market already close to 10 years. It's in a very, very narrow segment of the extreme sport machines. So that's why we say, because of our DNA is racing, at heart we are racers. We designed the machines or unique supercars, unique vehicles which are very custom and also very dedicated to the origin of our founder, Aljosha Tušek, which was previously the professional racer. And of course, we are with them sharing the passion for racing, and this is represented well on the next short video.
Pleasure with the Bell T-Day Price Right Special. Lola, car number 5, will be driving this afternoon, and it was confirmed yesterday that Bell Cornell
The mission is, of course, very, very connected with the emotion. So the product is actually born out of passion. And in addition, driven by the edge technology, we will see later about that. So also the mission is coming from, as mentioned before, the professional racing career, which was in the Adria Racing, one of the key players years back. And his passion was then somehow channelized into the extreme machine. And of course, the team, the extremely dedicated team, is also one of our, let's say, strong points. When we check now, what are the activities or planned activities? What are the specialities of Tušek? So Tušek is an independent producer of the high-performance vehicles in the hypercar market, and it's also pioneering the the eDrive technology for the automotive market and also beyond. So the technology is something which is today very, very important differentiator in the transportation, in the vehicle transportation, especially in the high performance vehicles. We know that this segment is a very, very focused on the let's say high-end wealth people, and they of course value the technology which is coming rather from Formula One or from very advanced technologies which will be later maybe mainstream, maybe not. So we have our special unit which is focused on the electric drives. So the patented technology which is in place in the car is something which is differentiating us. And what is also very good is that this technology is very scalable for also other segments of the automotive industry. We are also unbound. We are the independent, let's say, not really limited with the constraints of existing manufacturers. And this makes us very flexible and very, let's say, innovative in a way that we can implement the solutions which are sometimes not yet reach for the really massive production. A few words also later about that. A little bit about the history. The first car has been produced in the 2012, and 2014. This is a very important milestone for the company because the first supercar has been presented in Monaco and was also listed as a top 10 supercars worldwide at that time. This is very important information because you will find a lot of publications about that. In 2018, we released the first hybrid version with the patent protected eDrive integration technology, which will be also presented in the next slides. The aim of that technology is to improve the efficiency and, of course, the mass. Mass in the supercar and hypercar market is one of the biggest enemies or biggest friends. It depends on which side you are. So the mass is important for a very high accelerations, for a very high driving dynamics, and so on. In 2020, we released the extreme version of this hybrid car, which is called TS 900. Extreme version means that this is the racing related version, which is not homologated and is dedicated to the passionate drivers which are on the let's say not just weekend drivers but also very, very dedicated to the racetracks. And we started also to partner on the development of the new technologies, not only on the e-motor itself, but also on the storage systems. In 2023, we plan to release the first prototype, the fully electric car, because the current hybrid technology has about 35 to 40% of the energy source from the electric, and the rest is still internal combustion engine, which is today still relatively common approach because the very high power demands and very let's say racing oriented machines need still some range which is today not yet on the level that you can perform it only with the battery. But we are working and partnering on the technologies which are related to the kind of solid state batteries which will open completely new horizon. You might know that almost everyone in this industry is working on that technology, and this will be the next milestone for the electric mobility, we believe, and we will be for sure part of that. So in 2023, our new model with the working name TS3000 will be the fully electric, and we will join also the very exclusive club with the extreme machines with the electric, the power which will be beyond 2000 horsepower, far beyond. And this will be also the new era in the so-called 1-to-1 power ratio. So there are today just a few companies, and Tušek is one of them, who can reach a 1-to-1 power ratio. That means you have 1 horsepower which is carrying 1 kilogram of the mass. So if you physically imagine the horse which carries just 1 kilogram, this is amazing performance. And yeah, there are, like I said, just few producers worldwide which has a 1-to-1 ratio. And with these fully electric sport cars, we are entering then the new era where this 1-to-1 ratio will not be anymore the milestone, because we will go also significantly below 1-to-1, where one horsepower will carry much less than 1 kilogram. So now to our core let's say topic. So the so-called Toucek direct electric drive is a patented technology which we believe it is very scalable for other industries. I mean the transportation industries, and has a great potential to be implemented also later in the mass production. We see here the structure of our technology, which we channelized through our hypercar. So it is a low-speed axial flux rotor with outer electric motor with the outer rotor, which is implemented in some special way where we don't have any transmissions, we don't have any let's say momentum losses, and also no additional mass. So the benefits are then resulting into higher power density and also higher torque density, which is in comparison with the other players on the market very, very good. And of course this requires then also electric or electronic transmission, which is steered completely electronically. And this, despite low speed regime, we can of course reach the 280 kilometers per hour in 2.3 seconds. Yeah. Sorry, there's 100 kilometers an hour in 2.3 seconds. Maximal power is then 280. And at the moment we have three models. We have the segmentation based on the customer experience. So the street drivers, we have one model for the weekend drivers, and we have one model for the extreme racing drivers. This technology, like we said, is a patent protected, and we have already some good, let's say, potential to industrialize also this technology outside of our vehicle. When we compare this technology with the other, let's say, high performance companies or solutions, we have here comparison between the Porsche and some other high-ranked brands, including also Lucid Air, the Californian e-startup. And we see here that the mass of our, let's say, the e-drive is compared to others much lower, which give us at close to almost 650 horsepower output power, very, very good energy or let's say power density, better 16.4 horsepower per kilogram. So this is the density which ensures us even higher values in the future. So we can scale up by adding the more e-motors, also the more power, and this is something which is also in plan for our next electric vehicle. Few words about our team. We said the team is one of our very, very important assets, because by the company, like in the stage where we are now, the team is crucial. So we are short from the industrialization phase. We are offering the car already on the market. We are in the pre-homologation phase, depends now from the markets, whereby the racing version doesn't need any homologation. So you will see here on that structure of the management team that we have almost 90 years of the experience in the automotive and business development segment, and we believe this will play the crucial role in the further development of the Toucek supercars. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Peter. So we will also now continue with our roundtable because these were very, very interesting presentations. So I'm inviting all speakers to join me on this virtual stage. So you can now switch on the cameras and the microphones. And you know, it's very interesting to see that in the country of only 2 million, inside mobility, in many pillars, we have trend-setting solutions. So I will start with Ivo Buscarol. So Ivo, you mentioned earlier, you know, aerospace and automotive are coming together. It's like in telecommunication when, you know, mobile phones and fixed phone come together. But how do you see the future? Because aerospace is very, how can I say, process-driven. Everything needs to be certified from production to all parts and suppliers to final product, while automotive is becoming more and more data-driven, automation, robotics, mass production. So how you see these two industries will merge in the future?
Well, I would say in the beginning that it's finally time that we are thinking about merging these two industries, like you mentioned in other industries. It's simply a must, you know, because nowadays for the lawyers doesn't matter if you was killed by a car or by aircraft. You know, the requests from the family is almost the same. So I'm quite sure the safety requests from the cars, especially when talking about autonomous in future, will be the same that the ones in aviation. In aviation was forced to do this before, because, you know, if there is a car accident, nobody is asking if the brakes were good or not. Everybody is asking if the driver was drunk, you know. But for the aircraft, if there is an aircraft accident, everybody asks if the engine failed, you know. So there is a different approach. Flying is not something natural humans have, and we are afraid of flight, but most of the accidents also in flight, in aviation, are caused by pilots, by humans. So it's time that we really put the open cards on the table, and we combine these two requests, and especially to benefit of both advantages, you know. So yes, aviation has a lot of experience how to make, let's say, high standards in technology, but car industry has reached so lean production that now the fight is on maybe 5th, 7th decimal of €1, you know. And if we like to make a mass production of flying objects, we must combine these two advantages. I agree that in big cities, for short distances, we will still go a walk or maybe use a bicycle. But what is lost of time is that to reach your office, you must walk, you must use the bicycle, you must use the Uber or bus or subway or taxi. This is time losing, you know, and all this is contributing to emissions. All this is contributing to noise. All this is contributing to loss of time. So we must really start thinking to let's say, combine the advantages of all, let's say, components or actors of this ecosystem to make, let's say, the next generation, or let's say, to go forward to the final goal in mobility, to do everything efficient. Because, you know, it's always a problem of the weakest part of the chain. You know, you can be very successful, but if you have one weak part, so what we are talking today about electric propulsions, electric vehicles. But if we don't have enough strong grid, you know, if we don't have electricity, we are all losing time. So everything must be connected, and this is what we are doing. You know, we are involved really as Pipistrel in all segments of let's say, improving the existing systems to be successful then for the final goal.
Oh, thank you. So, Jure, we know that electricity and water usually are not best friends. And we heard your solution about, e-boats and e-marine, electric marine solution and so on. Do you think this will be some kind of niche market, or will become the next disruption in nautical industry?
As Ivo said in the first topic, when he described how everything has to merge, we also believe that there will be no customers who will drive electric car and then go with electric drone and then come to the big diesel boat and drive it. So we cannot imagine that. And I do certainly believe, and our team believes, that it will be also the change in the maritime, so to say, in the nautics, that everything will go electric. And I think that also people who do boating likes to enjoy this pure air and pure nature experience, and not having this kind of diesel engines and petrol engines. So we do believe that, but it's one of the industries that definitely won't be the first, like car industry, which is driving everything forward. Also, like Pipistrel and Vladimir said, this car industry pushes this kind of mentality and propaganda marketing, and then also other industries are following. So we do believe that this change will happen in next years, and therefore we started 5-6 years ago with this project to be one of the first in this area and to help the full society to transfer this kind of mobility. There are also some of the, let's say, also in maritime projects that are for many years, like Vladimir also said for his company, for many years also already in hybrid. Also the big yachts, for example, or let's say shipping boats, they're also hybrid, so that they do not pollute in the near coastal area. But we have to make also this change, how to make better efficiency also in the water, or let's say further away from the coast. But as this is also connected with batteries, what Mr. Peter nicely said, there are new battery concepts or hydrogen concepts or others that will also affect then the boating for long distances. So for the short distances, we believe this is the first mass change that will happen, and therefore we are concentrating on the cities like Venice or Amsterdam or other coastal area, taxis or something like that. So this is, in our opinion, the first change that will happen, but it will definitely happen.
Yes, and imagine like electric scooters and smaller electric vehicles, and then now we see also the introduction of electric SUVs that are getting a lot of attention. So that is why I would like to ask Mr. Vladimir. So the idea of hybrid yacht is helping to create the really like sustainable nautical industry. So do you believe that this will evolve also further, from yachts, hybrid yachts, also to hybrid ships and other larger vessels that are today traveling and transporting goods around the globe?
Thank you for the question. Actually, to be honest, the pleasure boating, it's very far behind industrial ships and so on, because most of them driven by a serial hybrid propulsion system, and the cruise ships, the propulsion is electric motors on the most of them, and they generate electric energy by jet engines or by diesel engines with the big diesel generators. But the main set for the mega yachts, if you talk about the private mega yachts, they also, most of them, it's driven by electric propulsion system, only because it's more efficient than the direct shaft propulsion, and the mass and balance could be easily distributed as you need. Because if you put a huge engine on the backside of the boat, the mass and balance will be moved, and you need to do some compensation. It's extra weight, and everybody remember, I guess, the physics, the kinetic energy is mass and the square of speed. As much you need the speed, as much you need the energy. As much you need the energy, its mass is you're growing. You know, it's a circle. But the mindset is in the heads. You know, the revolution we don't need to make in the industry. We need to make a revolution in the heads, because people start to think about this. They will never think about electric propulsion system because they will be satisfied with the current solution. But some pioneers definitely should be with running ahead. Like we know the Elon Musk, he bring this electric cars, which was not secret. One of the first car which was made in the 19th century was electric, before combustion engine, you know. But afterwards is some kind of easy money. The steering the world. They go where is easy. But today the situation on the market is the people looking on different solutions in different environment. This last pandemic happens, events, it show us hotels are struggling because people are squeezed together. The cruise ships are 5,000 people on the small locked environment, where is the ventilation distributing everything through the whole ship. You know, now it has a strong influence on our industry, where the people recognize they want to stay alone, they want to keep the social distance naturally. And I guess in the aviation industry it's the same. Nobody want to be in the crowd playing inside, seat shoulder to shoulder each other, you know, next to each other. Mask, no mask. It's easy to get your private plane and go from small point to small point. Today in the morning I wake up, take a Tesla and drive 15 minutes to Marina Portorož. Now I am in my office. It's a hybrid boat. You know, this is you guys stay in your office. I'm staying in my office. It's a little bit different. Yeah. And afternoon I will get the flight from Portorož to Venice, to Lido Airport. Thank you, Ivo, for nice airplane. Too beautiful in the world, I guess. Yeah.
You are welcome.
Thank you. The mindset is very important. As soon the people will change, they change the mind, they open the mind, they start to look beyond, not only pioneers, you know, all of us have to looking beyond and say, guys, we need the e-bike, we need the e-plane, we need the e-car, we need the e-boats, and we would like to have. Look at our customers. Our customers, all of them have a solar roof, all of them have a electric car, electric scooter, electric bike. They're looking for electric boats, and the electric plane is the next. You know, we try to help. The revolution already done. Now we need to build environment for the next step. For the next step.
Thank you, Vladimir. And I think a lot of us in this panel and in the audience got an idea for the next home office where it should be. So thank you.
Yeah, we on the next boat we offer already dedicated space on the boat. It's office, not like extra shower, not extra cabin. This is the office.
Great, great. New opportunity, you know, for co-working spaces, and they're also mobile. So I would go to Gregor. So Gregor, you know, these events are also for networking, not only with the audience, but also between us. And listening to other presentation, I got really a feeling that everyone should have your bike somehow bundled in their offer. So how do you like this idea? And then also I have a question for you. We know that cities are promoting multimodality, and how your concept can contribute to that in a way that, you know, we extend from city experience also to rural experience. So do you have also any plans, any campaigns, any ideas how to promote these kind of activities?
Yeah, so as you all know, the bike industry is great winner of these coronaviruses, because as Vladimir mentioned, nobody wants to be in crowded places, and so the mass transportation in the cities are not so cool anymore like it was. So underground buses and so on. And also, as I mentioned in my presentation, the cars are also not feasible for cities because of their proportions, because they are too big and so on. So yeah, and also what electric bike changed to the bike industry is it get you range, you know. So Slovenia is maybe the great example, because we know that a lot of people go to the jobs to our capital Ljubljana from the areas that are 20-30 kilometers around Ljubljana. So with electric bike now it's feasible to do that. And you know, when you go to the work, you don't want to be sweaty and so on. And also electric in bike solve that problem also. So yeah, I think that. And also not just electric bike. We are also talking about electric scooters. All the vehicles in two wheels that are small, that could be put in the cars and so on. Because also this combination, I like very much what Ivo and Vladimir talk about, this connection of everything. And yeah, I agree. Like Vladimir talks, someone who wants to have electric yacht will also have electric plane and electric cars and so on. So yeah, it's really connected, and we should combine all these different approaches to more green living with vehicles. You know, you take your car, you have in the backspace, you have a scooter or bike or something like that, and you just prolong your route to everywhere you want. So yeah.
Thank you. So also from the audience, feel free to ask questions, our dear panelists. So I go to Peter. You know, Peter, luxury vehicles, usually we connect always with heavy fuel consumption. But now we see that this sustainability is also entering the luxury segment. So what do you think? Is this now a new norm? Should every luxury brand become sustainable and help us, you know, make our planet more healthier?
Yeah, certainly it is. Yeah. So this sustainability is actually more or even very much connected with the socioeconomic factors. Yeah. So by default, I think the luxury was connected with the very traditional values, with very, very traditional goods and so on. But now the new technologies or new entrepreneurs or new very successful startups, unicorns, they are moving this luxury to completely new levels. So today is we believe today is a luxury to be connected all the time, to be entertained everywhere. And the luxury is changing, yeah? And to be sustainable is today obviously the must. And the luxury products or the very limited or exclusive products, they are, of course, they have some additional factor, the sustainability. We see all the hypercar companies where we also act, they have every kilometer which they do in the electric mode is already contribution, because these high power machines, which of course when you homologate your car, it has to fulfill some emission norms, but this homologation is based on the driving cycles which are standardized for the automotive industry. Of course, when you have the V8 or V10 machine together with a hybrid powertrain, your homologation is, of course, by very high accelerations and also racetrack completely out of the range for the normal emission levels. And every let's say every kilowatt spent from the battery is already contribution. And we are moving fast and very fast towards the completely electric hypercars, and this will then be the next level of sustainability. But of course, at that level, the new questions appear, because immediately when you come with a new technology, like we heard already from Vladimir and also from you, that it's not new at all. You know, it's almost 100 years old than the conventional powertrain technology. But still, when you come up and start to industrialize it, the first question is when you reach some economy of scale, what is the recycling? How will you recycle it? Will you be able to put this negative balance back to the zero balance? You know, and these are the questions which are coming. We believe they are there. I mean, and all connected also with resourcing, with natural resources, and so on. So the sustainability is a very, very let's say bright expression. But in the luxury segment, we believe that we are moving in the very positive direction. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Please, Gregor.
If I could add just a thought, what Peter talked about luxury. I think the luxury as a concept also is also changing a lot. So it's not anymore what you could have, but what you could do. How could you impact? And I think that also Vladimir talked about that. So I think new luxury is like smart luxury, not what I could show off, but what I could do for better living, for better future. So this is new luxury.
I fully agree. So now we are coming closer to the end. So I will just ask you all, one simple question about your future this year and next year plans and so on, just for our audience to know how to interact with you. And I will start, Peter, with you. So is Tushakar working on organic growth, or you are doing some kind of activities in fundraising? Because we see that many luxury sports car brands were, raising funds to accelerate the growth. So what is your strategy in a few words?
Yes, so far we were, let's say, first years or in the bootstrapping mode. So that means we did only the organic growth. And now, since we are entering really the technologies which are very global and can be also scaled very successfully, we are in discussion with the investors. So beside the running discussions which you have, of course, it was a little bit influenced by Corona also, but beside these discussions, we are also inviting some potential future partners to join our discussions, to contact us, and I can be sure that we can build very, very successful and sustainable story.
Thank you, Gregor. Similar question to you. So where we will see Nordung in 1 year from now, or what are now on your agenda?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to say that we just gained a new investment round. Our existing investor from Switzerland decided to invest some more money in us. So yeah, now we are in the stage of finishing the development and starting the industrialization process. And early next year, we are starting with deliveries with our bikes. So yeah. Maybe just to mention that we already sold 20 bikes to Switzerland or Aston Martin. So it's a great deal for us. And we also expect to be delivered this bike early next year. And it will be part of some special project of Aston Martin with some special cars. And we are thrilled that we will be together with this story. So
congratulations.
So yeah, the future is bright.
Congratulations, and many more to come. So Jure, you have successful proof of concept in Venice, but Venice is just one town, and there are so many more. So what are your next steps?
One town with 10,000 boats, yeah. No, we are, as I mentioned before, the Eden is a startup company in our company that is bigger than Eden itself. Therefore, we founded it as a startup internally, and it will be a spin-off. So we are, let's say, going into this direction that we are making strategic partnerships with this company. We do not need to have, let's say, such kind of small investments into the company as we are investing in this by our own, but we are looking forward for the strategic, let's say, partnerships in order to make a scalable effect to be really present then in the big amounts when it comes to this disruption in this industry. So these are the next steps, but of course we are developing new products constantly. We are working on new projects that we are equipping, let's say, new boats with our engines and propulsion systems. And of course we are also looking forward to make some new projects also in the boating itself, so that we produce our own boats also with the partners, of course.
This is always good to know, because in our audience we have quite a few members from VC community and investors community. So it's always good to know that there are new ideas and new projects available. So, Mr. Vladimir, the Green Line. So, what are the next steps? What you are having on your agenda, and what will be the priorities? Vladimir, you're on the mute. Sorry. Yeah.
So far, we already in the future, we sold out up to 2023. We just opened January and February slot on 2023, and the 21 and 22 is completely sold out. We're looking for a new opportunity to grow with new facilities, probably, because on the existing facilities we almost come to the limit. And yeah, this situation is like a sweetie problem, you know. We're already in the future. Yeah. We're developing new boats, we're developing a new hybrid system again, electric system, and yeah, we're moving forward. The Green Line always was the open shipyard, open door shipyard. Any customer or dealers or visitors, journalists, welcome to the shipyard. We always dedicate the slots and showing the production. We have no secret from audience. We would like to share our experience and knowledge to make a more fan of hybrid and electric propulsion system on the water.
Great, happy to hear that again. Also, congratulations. And Ivo, you are also, I know, full of plans and announcements. So, what is next with Pipistrel?
Oh yes, we will be surprising you, be sure. I'm convinced, as also my team is, that the final goal of mobility must be not only automatic movement or flight, but must be completely autonomous. So we are working a lot on machine learning, artificial view, all, let's say, segments which contribute to the final goal. You know, nowadays in the mobility, human brain is not enough strong anymore to process all the data we need and all the inputs we have. So we are convinced that the safest pilot is the one who is working from home, and in future it will be in the way that we'll not have any pilots anymore, but we'll have a smart system of vehicles which will recognize themselves, which will, let's say, avoid the trajectories by themselves, which will, let's say, automatically change the destination if necessary, find the final destination. That's the final goal which is needed, which is mandatory. We are starting to fly these days another hybrid propulsion in our 4-seat aircraft. And of course, we believe that hydrogen is a much better solution for aviation than for car industry, because you don't need every 10-15 kilometers a hydrogen station, but you can have the hydrogen stations only in the airports, and bringing the hydrogen with the aircraft and taking the air, oxygen from the air and producing during the flight the needed energy. And the only mission having only clean water is the way to follow, that we will not touch the atmosphere, and we will still offer to the passengers what they need to move from A to B. A lot of challenges to be covered, but yes, without challenges there is no progress, and without motivations also not. So yeah, that's in short what we are doing in the next years or next decade.
Thank you, Ivo, and thank you all, dear panelists. We came to the end, and I wish you great success. And with that, I would really like also to thank all our participants and to the organizer, the Spirit Slovenia, who is a Slovenian business development agency, and they are also the entry point for doing business with Slovenia. So if you need any information, looking for partners, companies, looking to invest, you heard that we have great opportunities to do that, or opening the office, you can please do not hesitate to contact Spirit directly, and they will be glad to have you with contacts and information. If not sooner, I hope that we will see each other at Slovenian Pavilion this year at Expo 2020 in Dubai, where you will be able to see even more great Slovenian companies. And of course, now for the end, I would also like to invite you to the next event, the Spirit of Slovenian Mobility, which will be happening in June. And that topic of June event will be mobility as a service. So with that, I wish you a great day. I wish you a lot of success, a lot of networking, and looking forward to talk to you all soon. Thank you and goodbye.